You can try to manipulate karma, but what you will find out is that whatever you sowed in the ground, whatever you did is coming back. It's a law of the universe. You just don't know when, but you know it's coming back. See, even witches, if you talk to them, real ones, real witches know whatever I put back, whatever I put out, is coming back. Yeah. Who cares if you're a witch? You don't get to control the universe. Who cares? You have to know the regulations. You have to know and see these gang stalkers, like I told you, they come from white America, and see white America. What you got to understand, and I have to keep it 100 with you. There are good white spiritual Christians and spiritual people. And there is also a core in white culture that does not acknowledge God, and they acknowledge the material world, the science world. And they are behind spiritually. They're not spiritually advanced. They're physically advanced. Their technology is advanced, but they are not spiritually advanced. Okay? So but you have a lot of non-white people, because of poverty or struggles and death around them, they have relied on the higher power, and they have become spiritually advanced as a result. See, if you already got all these things, and you ain't around violence, you ain't around drugs, you ain't around none of that, and your life is like Disneyland, you got money, your mama got money, your granddaddy got money, people like that, they stray away from the higher power because they don't feel the need. You got everything you need. So in the middle of that has influenced, because of that has influenced other generations, and they run out here godless, only acknowledging the material world, and they don't think nothing's going to happen for the gang stalking, because they're not spiritually advanced. But now they see. You think you're spiritually advanced. Being a telepath, it does not make you spiritually advanced. I'm sorry to tell you. Being a psychic does not make you spiritually advanced. You are able only to interpret a certain organ, which happens to be the brain. You are only an organ interpreter. That's all you are. You just go to the brain, you can interpret the brain. That's not spiritually advanced to me, because we are at the top of the spiritual food chain. The kingdom of God is at the top of the food chain. Just reading the brain ain't nothing. That's nothing. What is that going to get you? In actuality, what is that going to manifest? Nothing really. We change things. We send out angels and you lose. That's spiritually advanced. Because people that play with me, you see what's happening to them. Look at them. Look at the city. Look at the country. Look at the city I'm in and all the stuff they've been doing in the city. Now look at their city. Look at New York. Because they playing games. And God sent out the angels and they lose. God allows evil to happen to them and they lose. See, a psychic can't do that. You can't do that. Why you ain't doing it then? Because you're not spiritually advanced. So what white people do is they get on the psychic side and the telepath side of the spiritual world. But you're just guppies. You're like bottom feeders to us. We're lions galloping through the plains. You're guppies, little fish and little minnows in the water. We're galloping. I'm a spiritual lion, man. I would devour you. I have devoured you. Now you know. You can't change this. This is a real world, just like you got the real natural world. And in this world, right here, we rule, whether you want to accept it or not. Just like Russia. In Russia, Putin, right now, he rules whether you want to accept it or not. Who cares if you accept it? He rules. It's just that's what it is. Anybody want to challenge it? You see what happens. It's the same thing on our side in the spiritual world. We rule whether you like it or not. Don't care. Oh well. You'll be another enemy that bit the dust. Simple as that. And see, I back it all up. I'm showing you. You can't play with us. See what the world thinks is if we can persecute them. That's the word. They know that word. They don't know all the Bible, but they know that. Oh, we can persecute them. You can't persecute everybody. And you can't kill everybody. And when you learn that, you're learning the jungle. You're learning the jungle. You can't kill everybody. When you come to that understanding, you understand the jungle. If you think you can come through this jungle with more than just the natural world, with the spiritual world to it too, and you mess around and you mess with the wrong spiritual person in the spiritual world that you met in the natural world, but they in the spiritual world, in your natural world, that's the right way to say it. They in the spiritual world, in your natural world, and you meet them you meet a spiritual person in your natural world, and they're in the spiritual world, in your natural world, and you play with them, you lose, man. And I put that on everything. Anybody that challenges a person that is minding their business and they ain't causing no bad karma, and you doing bad karma, you obviously are an amateur in the spiritual world, and you are connected to the natural world, and you don't think that there's any spiritual repercussions until you meet the right spiritual person. Just like everybody say, you meet your match, right? It's the same thing in the spiritual world. When you meet your match, when you meet somebody that you can't conquer, and then it starts backfiring, and you get bad karma here, bad karma there. I'm talking about real stuff. I'm not talking about lose a jacket, lose your phone, some stuff like that. Little simple stuff that everybody go through. I'm talking about real karma. I'm talking about stuff, life-changing events. When you start getting that kind of stuff, if you don't get the signs, that means you're not even awake to the spiritual world. You haven't even had a spiritual awakening. And you're in the natural world, and I'm talking about the gang stalkers. You're connected to the material world that the white culture has taught you, that is basically some of them, their God, and you don't think it's any repercussions. That's what would have you gang stalking it, because I wouldn't do it. Because I know eventually all that stuff coming back. Any witch would tell you, a real professional witch will tell you things can backfire, and they can't do nothing about it. They can't do nothing about it. Sometimes it will backfire, and sometimes it will come back on you, and it's going to come back on you. Eventually. You can't play with fire and not get burned, buddy. I know you think you're evil Knievel, but we bringing you back down to the real world. Now you see there's repercussions. Now you see that God would not allow you to touch certain people. And you think, oh, well, we could just kill them. Why you ain't did it yet? Why haven't you been able to do it? And now I'm so successful that it doesn't even matter anymore. It doesn't matter what you do now. We won. This country has changed forever. It don't matter what you do now. You done waited too late. You waited too late, buddy. Because either way it go, how's that stopping? What they don't want to admit to you is that COVID, all that stuff, it ain't stopping, man. How they gonna stop it? When you got anti-vax community, not people, community. They're online, I bet. I'm gonna look it up too. You got anti-vax community, not anti-vax people. You have anti-vax community, and they're probably supporting each other. I'm pretty sure they are. I'm pretty sure they're talking online somewhere. I'm pretty sure they're gathering somewhere on the internet. I'm pretty sure. These days, doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that. So, as long as you have the anti-vax community, COVID's not leaving. I'm sorry to tell you, because they're going to be the ones getting it and spreading it. And just in case you think it's some bushwhack, this anti-vax community, just in case you think it's some bushwhack people, just in case you think that, military, you got anti-vax community in the military. They left the military. They left the police units or precincts. You got teachers. There is from every walk of life. You get doctors, health fields, nurses. Just in case you thought it was some bushwhack guy drinking beer around a campfire talking about, I don't want to be vaccinated, because that's your picture of it. But I'm just trying to update the reality to you. See, that's what I do. I show you the reality too. Because some of y'all don't think about other worlds and things. Y'all don't think about other environments and things. You need to do that. You need to think about other environments, other worlds besides your own. Take a trip across town mentally. Think about what's going on over there. You need to do that. Because you got ex-military, military, a lot of people that are not getting vaccinated. And sooner or later, my thoughts is that sooner or later, these people are going to clash with the government and the community, because what I believe is going to flare back up. I believe COVID, you get strains all the time. You get all these strains all the time. And eventually it's going to get out of control. Again, I mean, like out of control, like unreachable, like we can't do nothing about it. And when that happens, they're going to be so strict, like not being vaccinated is not going to be even an option. When you get at that point where it's everywhere, being unvaccinated is going to be like you being a crazy person, like a zombie or something to this community. And when that happens, there's going to be a clash, because people are not going to be able to eat. They're not going to be able to go into stores. They're not going to be able to do anything at all. So what people are going to look at you like is that you're a liability to the American community. You're going to be in a liability sooner or later. Anti-vax community, I'm not a dictator. I'm not some upcoming dictator that's trying to, look, I'm telling you the truth though. You look at it, like he's like a dictator. He's being groomed. He's a dictator. He's a natural dictator. Nah, think about it. Sooner or later, this is going to get out of control. We've been trying to control it as much as we can, right? But the anti-vax community is what's going to keep this going on. And eventually it's going to get out of control. And when it does, whoever is in office, because Joe Biden has to go eventually. And what America's going to be looking for is someone to get this COVID in check. That's the next leader. Somebody's getting this COVID in check, and guess what? It's going to take somebody with a strong arm that has no feelings for some anti-vax community people. And so guess what they're going to do? That's who's going to get elected. People that ain't playing with no anti-vax people. Because by that time, it's going to be out of control. After Joe Biden, if he do 2 terms, let's just say he do 2 terms. Let's just give it to him. He do 2 terms. After him, COVID is crazy, right? That's 8 years. The next person is going to have no sympathy for some anti-vax people. Imagine 4 more years, 6 or 7 more years. Nobody's trying to hear any you see the war that's coming when I'm telling you this? Even community is going to look at people like they're crazy, because it's everywhere. It's going to be bubbling over everywhere. and nobody's trying to hear anti-vax. And eventually, they're going to clash with the government. They're going to get frustrated. And remind you, like I told you, they're ex-military, they're police. These are men that are also trained to shoot and kill. Yeah, you need to know that part. Anti-vax people are not all bushwhack people sitting around drinking beer at a campfire. That's what you thinking. You got some of them that can shoot. They're very trained. And eventually, when this bubbles over, this COVID, when it bubbles over, it's an inevitable clash that's going to happen. I'm telling you. When it bubbles over, it's an inevitable clash between government and anti-vax. I'm telling you, that's the war that's coming. And so just in case you thought they were not sophisticated, they have ex-military, military, they have all branches of the military, police, teachers, doctors, and nurses. What you think they gonna do with their money? You got to start thinking about this kind of stuff. You can't be simple. You don't know what they're gonna do. You don't know what they're gonna put their money to do. And if a government refuses to accept their decision, what do you think they're gonna do with their money? They're gonna start fighting the government. They're gonna start fighting the powers that be and even the community. Because what else are they going to do? They're going to eventually be pushed out of society. So smart people, before that time comes, they're gonna go ahead and start separated and doing their and trying to establish themselves outside of the community and the government for their own survival. Because ultimately, if they don't get vaccinated, they're headed to an anti-vaccination camp. I'm trying to tell you. I did videos months ago telling y'all this. What else they gonna do with them? Let's just say it gets 100% total COVID everywhere. What are they gonna do with anti-vax people? I mean, it's everywhere. I'm talking about like there's no society anymore. There's nothing but COVID. What are they gonna do with anti-vax people? Put them in a camp, in a facility. Maybe I shouldn't use that. Maybe you're missing, like that word is hanging you up. They're gonna basically put you in a facility away from society because you're a liability. If you have 100% COVID-19, what people that's anti-vax are going to look like zombies to the community. You may look good to yourself, but you're going to look crazy like a zombie to everybody else. And they're going to put you away from the society so for the sake of not spreading more COVID in a facility somewhere. And when you realize that's going to happen, that's when the clash and the wars, in the real war, I'm talking about bloodshed. Because like it's ex-military, like I told you, military, all branches of the military, police, teachers and nurses and doctors, and every other walk of life you can think about. They're going to fight back physically. You think they're going to just go to a camp willingly? So put two and two together. You think an ex-military Marine is going to just humble himself down when he's already anti-vax? He's already passionate about it. So you think he's going to just submit and go and just surrender to an anti-vax facility? You think he's going to just go there? They ain't going to do that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is an inevitable clash that's going to happen. All right? And back to the contest and all the stuff that these people are doing, this gang stalking. You're going to be stopped by COVID. COVID's about to stop you, buddy. Because it's just going to be so crazy and so much going on. You're going to be running through sewers trying to do that. It's going to be like running through sewers. It's going to be so much COVID out here. You ain't even going to be able to gang stalk. That's what I'm saying. You don't know what's coming. You listen to these people that's always talking about oh, well, this is going to happen for COVID. They shouldn't even get, at this point, they shouldn't even give any more opinions on what's going to happen. Because they've been wrong all along. Dr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci, he been wrong. All they're doing is trying to predict according to basically their best. They only assume it's just their best assumption at best. They have been wrong about it all. All of them said it was gonna be gone this amount of time, that amount of time. Haven't been gone. In fact, more strains have come. Let alone leaving. The original COVID, we don't even think about that no more. Who thinks about the original strain of COVID? That's really COVID-19. Is the original strain from 2020. Do anybody think about the original strain? You ever seen anybody talking about the original strain of COVID-19? Anybody talking about the original strain of COVID-19 from 2020? Anybody talking about that? No. We talk about BA2. We talk about what's the other one? All the it's so many of them. The Mu one. It's so many. And you think it's going away. And see, they didn't see that coming. They didn't see different strains. They were talking about COVID, the one COVID strain. Then more strains came. They didn't see that coming. Not really. I mean, at some point you can say, well, it's going to mutate to something else or something else. But really, no one's seen all these strains coming. The more contagious strains and on and all that. So you got to think about this. Basically is going to overtake this community. It's just a matter of time. And the foundation of it is now at this point is the anti-vax community. So they're sitting waiting. They know anybody smart knows the clash is coming because it's going to overtake the community and therefore overtake their little rights that they think they have. Those little rights, nobody's trying to hit at. The next Republican that gets in office, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. They're going to make sure because Joe Biden has done so much that he don't even realize it. Maybe you do. But the main thing is the 20 years of progress that was lost over in Afghanistan and all of that was a total disaster. That was, by the way, for you that don't know when I say that, the 20 years of progress, what I'm referring to is all the response for 9/11. When 9/11 happened, they went to war over there in Afghanistan. So America has been sending troops over the years since 2001. They've been sending them over there. And Joe Biden got in office and pulled all the established military that's been over there. And that caused a disaster, and the Taliban basically got back on top of the government, which means basically establishing peace was now failed. The peace that was established is gone. And, and you can split hairs about it. You can say, well, they do some good things and this and that. The bottom line is they're too unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen with the leadership of the Taliban. You can't say that. You can't say what's going to happen, especially going into the future. You don't know. But what we do know is they work basically in a terrorist type form. This is what we know. And Joe Biden talking about, well, let us, and this is his exact words, let us judge them by what they do. We already know what they do. What are you talking about? What are they going to do next? Well, it ain't going to be hard to figure that out. They're not going to be making picnics. They're not going to be building pizza restaurants. What are you talking about? Hey, pretty much everybody can guess what they're going to do next. Look, man, it's not in the best interest of average humanity. It's not in the best interest of average humanity what they're going to do next. Look, using wisdom is looking at the past, right? Because in this situation with them, using wisdom is looking at the past. You don't need to see what they do next. You can pretty much you can pretty much figure it out. They're gonna turn over a whole new leaf and do something. Come on, man. Wisdom is not gonna allow even the opportunity. Talking about what they're gonna do next. You shouldn't even be allowing the opportunity for anything next. That part. So he's gonna probably be put out, and eventually a Republican is gonna come in there, and they're gonna strong arm all this foolishness about this anti-vax community. All that foolishness is gonna get strong armed, and y'all gonna be scared, running around with the scary eyes, like you was when you didn't think Donald Trump was gonna get out of office. You're gonna be like that. I'm telling you where this is going. Because if you don't think Republicans are going to get back in there after Joe Biden has messed up 20 years of progress, that's not only a blemish on his presidency or administration, it's a blemish on the Democratic Party as a whole. That's what people don't want to accept, or some people don't even realize it. That's a blow for them too. So I see probably maybe a Republican coming. I'm not gonna. I don't predict. I don't do that. I can't say certainly, but just looking at using an educated guess or an assumption would be to me that based on what Joe Biden did with that's a 9/11 response. 9/11, he messed up that progress. That's a 9/11 response progress that he messed up. Messing up that progress is detrimental, because 9/11 is an act of war that is significant to Americans. And that's what his opponents are going to harp on. They're going to do it. He messed up 20 years of progress, going over there, pulling out those troops, and military is just going to be right on board. Like, yeah, you shouldn't have did that. You should have slowly but surely pulled out the troops. That's what you should have did. And seeing how it went, and seeing what happened, and seeing how the community responded. That's what you should have did. You didn't do that, though. What you did was you just did it, I believe, partially for political points to say, look what I did. Look at the progress I'm making. Because there was no wisdom in that. So you had to be doing it to look good. You had to be doing it for political points. You had to be doing it to look good. And I believe that's why also they're involved in the Russian and the Ukraine war. Why is America so involved in that? You still don't know, right? So Joe Biden's he's trying to redeem himself. That's all it's about. He's trying to redeem himself from messing up 20 years of progress. The response for what happened on 9/11. So see, the Democrats are not going to get it. And that's just looking at how what America value, how America thinks. That's based on that. They're not going to give this guy another 4 years. And I don't think the Democrats are good. They don't want a chance for some other Democrat to mess up the future for this country. They don't want another chance of that. So it's going to be a Republican. Somebody that's just straightforward, sharp, forward. This is how it is. That's how it's going to go. That's what America is going to be looking for. I'm telling you. That's what America is going to be looking for. And the Republicans are good for that type of individual. They're going to have somebody come in there and they ain't trying to hear none of that anti-vax stuff. They ain't trying to hear none of that. They ain't trying to hear none of that. That's what's going to come. That's what's coming next. Somebody that you're going to be probably fearful of this person. You're going to be fearful of the next person because they ain't going to have no compassion, no understanding when COVID is running over everywhere and people talking about they anti-vax. They ain't going to be feeling that. And they ain't going to have no compassion. They ain't going to have no compassion. They ain't going to have no understanding. Because half the community don't have any understanding about it anymore. I'm starting to lose my understanding. Like at first, okay, I was the same way. I took my time getting vaccinated. Right? But I realized that how are you going to get rid of it? I mean, how are you going to escape COVID? One day, it's going to get you. If you're unvaccinated and you don't think it's still out there, go check and see how many people died last night. Go check. Go see how many people are dying weekly. They're dying still today. That's what they don't want to tell you. It's almost like COVID is becoming old news. But while you think it's old and it's old news, people still dying from it. Families are grieving right now as I speak because somebody died in their family tonight from COVID. Today, right now, April 28th, 2022. This is still well and alive. Whether you want it to be or not, whether I want it to be or not, it is still well and alive.